My name is Henry Carter, and this is my wife, Margaret. I'm 91 years old, and Margaret here just turned 90 last week. For the past 25 years, we've been living on the streets. Our home is a park bench in Philadelphia, where we've spent countless nights under the stars, huddled together for warmth. But before that, we had a different life. We weren't always homeless.
We were once music teachers. Henry taught violin, and I taught piano at a small school. Music was our world, and our students were like our children. But life has a way of taking what you love and testing how strong you can be. In 1998, our daughter, Emily, was diagnosed with leukemia. She was only 35. We sold everything we had to pay for her treatment. Our home, our savings, even our instruments. But
we lost her, and with her, we lost a part of ourselves. We couldn't afford to rebuild our lives. We thought we could survive on hope alone, but life doesn't make it that simple. One bad turn after another, and before we knew it, we were on the streets. For years, all we had was each other and the music in our hearts. Sometimes, we'd play for strangers, hoping they'd hear the love in our songs, even when the world felt so cold.
music has been our only constant. It's the language we share when words fall short. On the days when it felt like we couldn't go on, Henry would play his violin, and I'd close my eyes and hear the life we once had. Tonight, we're here not just to share our story, but to show that no matter how broken you feel, love and music can keep you alive.
The piece we'll play tonight is one we wrote together. It's called Emily's Lullaby. It's for our daughter, the light of our lives, who we carry with us in every note. We hope you hear her in this melody and feel the love we still hold for her. Thank you for giving two old souls a chance to remind the world that even when life takes everything, music can give it back.
Good luck.